Not only are spreadsheets really good at doing calculations, they're also very good at making graphs, or the term in the program is usually called charts. So what I have is I have some sample data here where two classes have been asked to identify their favorite seasons. So we have winter, spring, summer, autumn, and then the number of people that picked each one. And we're going to talk about how to do charts, also called graphs. We're going to look at different features of graphs. We're going to look at how to customize graphs, and then I'll give you a bunch of data to make charts of or graph in class. So we want to start out by selecting the data. So we're first going to click and drag to select all the data that we're interested in. And then there's two places we can go to get this. One is in the insert menu, and if I look down I can find insert a chart, but there's also one on the toolbar here. So I'm just going to get rid of that, and I can go over here to insert a chart there. And when I do that, it's going to automatically populate it with one type of chart. But what we're going to do is it also pops up this chart editor. And one of the first things in that chart editor is the chart type. And if you click on the drop list there, it will give you a few different sample or suggested types of charts, because it's looked at the data and said people who have this kind of data will typically do this kind of chart. So we can do a variety of different kind of charts. This one here that is on the screen now is called a bar graph or bar chart. The one I had before was a column chart. And I'll let you explore the different kinds of charts another time. We can also, if you so choose, we can switch the rows and columns. So instead of going down the columns for our data, we can go across the rows. So now you've got different seasons that way. And I wanted this one, so we're going to stick with that. We can also do some other things. You'll notice that there's two options here where the column headings are used as titles. So for example, well actually I shouldn't say the columns, they're going down this winter spring, they'll show up on the x-axis, the horizontal axis, and the different columns, class 1, class 2, they show up as different versions of that data. I can also customize, and we're going to spend some time in customizing. I want to quickly go through some of the different options here. So under chart style, I've got some options. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. Chart and axis titles, I want to spend a bit of time with that, because where it says the titles, so I can have a chart title, and I don't want just class 1 and class 2. I would want this to be, say, favorite season. And sorry I don't type very fast. Favorite season for class 1 and class 2, or something like that. I want a nice descriptive title. I can arrange that title, so instead of being left aligned, it's center aligned. I can adjust things like bold and color and the different font style that it's on. I can also make changes to the chart subtitle, which I don't have and I'm not going to have. The horizontal axis, where near the bottom it says favorite season, I could adjust that here. And then the vertical axis title, right now I don't need a title on this one because it's probably pretty obvious, but if I wanted a title I would pick vertical axis title, and I would actually have it say something like number of people. Number of people, maybe it's number of students, maybe it's something else like that, but I could type it in there. And again, same thing, I can adjust the color and the font and how it's aligned and so on. Maybe not so much its alignment, but I could make it italics and so on. Okay, to keep going with some different options, series, I could change the different aspects of each series. So if I take class 1, I could change the color of that if I wanted to. Not sure I want to, but I could, and so on. And I can do different things. Most of this we're not going to really worry about, although we will come back to the trend line a little bit later, not in this particular topic. I can do things with the legend. So if I want the legend where I want the legend, I can adjust it if I decide I don't want a legend at all. And I can make some changes to the horizontal axis, the vertical axis, and the grid lines. Now I don't have many options with either of these, but I can make my chart, customize it a little bit. And under horizontal axis, One of the things I want to do, here we go. No, that's not the one I wanted. Okay, I'm not seeing the one I want. Well, then I don't care that much about it. Okay, so those are some options I have. And I'm just going to park that chart somewhere down here. And we're going to look at a couple of other options that we have. So that was using selecting all the data. If I only want to select favorite season in class 1, I can do something similar. And from there, I could pick a different kind of chart. Oops, sorry, that was filter, not chart. That's chart. And if I don't want the column chart, I could make it a pie. And I've got some different options here. You'll notice I've got some labels, but I don't have to have labels. So where it says use column A as labels, if I turn that off, then certain labels go away. No, they don't. But if I want to customize, I've got some options in here as well, and so on. And again, just knowing how to do the chart is good enough. We already know how to do titles and so on. I'm actually going to delete that chart. If I wanted to do that for class 2 and only class 2, so I'm selecting some of the data but not all of the data, I'm going to select the one part, so the favorite season column. Then I'm going to press and hold Control while I select the other. So to get two columns that are not right beside each other and to leave a gap in between, I need to select one column, press and hold the Control key, and then select the other column. And from there, I can make a chart, and I could make a bar chart or a line chart. Actually, the line chart doesn't look very nice at all. A bar chart, and my bar chart looks like that, and I could do all kinds of things with that. I could take the legend out, I could change the color, all those things that we did before I can do on this one as well. So charting, getting them set up is pretty easy. The thing that I'm going to focus on, the thing I'm going to ask you to focus on, is making sure that your titles are good, your axis, your horizontal and vertical axis have titles, that the chart, even the colors that you pick and so on, that all of that makes sense and it makes it look good. Because there's a lot of things you can do that don't make the chart look better. Anyhow, we'll try those out and get you charting.